Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Alter Your Health podcast. It's Dr. Susanna Alter here. For those who are new to the podcast, I am a naturopathic doctor who specializes in whole food plant-based nutrition and mind body medicine, along with Dr. Benjamin, who co-hosts this podcast. And I'm taking over the podcast for this week and the following weeks ahead. It's the Dr. Susanna takeover because I have recently become very inspired in a particular area of nutrition that I'm so excited to share more about. And so this episode is really just kind of an introduction to the next few weeks ahead of us because we're going to be starting a brand new series of podcast episodes on life cycle nutrition. And what that means is the nutrition that we need in different phases and stages in the human life, the human course of development. So starting from preconception, ending with graceful aging. And of course, this is something I've become very, very interested in because I personally myself have just gone through this journey of becoming a mom and learning the nuances of plant-based nutrition when you're pregnant. Also for postpartum recovery, for breastfeeding, for all of these different nuanced stages in life where there are some special nutritional considerations, no matter what diet we're eating, but especially if we're hoping to stay plant-based in these phases of life as well. So, as I've said, I'm just like so excited to dive into this information with all of you in the next upcoming weeks. But in today's episode, we'll just give you a little bit of a teaser of what to expect in the upcoming weeks ahead. And like I said, we're starting at the very, very beginning with preconception, which is a phase that many people just kind of overlook, right? The phase of, our healthy reproductive years before we get pregnant, right? It's important for both men and women actually to take into consideration their nutritional status in the years leading up to pregnancy for, optimal health for the baby, for also mom and dad in the postpartum phase as well, right? Because the caretakers also need to be in great health for the health of the entire family, right? So the following week after we talk about preconception, we'll be talking about pregnancy. And there's so many special considerations for mothers who are wanting to eat a plant-based diet during pregnancy. First of all, I need to step back and say that the good news is, of course, and this is like the obvious fact, that eating plant-based supports health in all of these phases in life, right? However, there's a big but. There's a big but that when eating plant-based, there generally are some special considerations to take to make sure that we are getting everything that the body needs. And pregnancy is a great example of this. For example, we need to make sure that the pregnant mother is getting enough vitamin B12, which of course we don't have, as you all know, we don't have a great source of vitamin B12 in the plant-based diet. So supplementation is of course necessary, but there's a few other special considerations as well. Also, because, taking another step back in our practice here, Alter Health, in the Alter Your Health podcast, we talk primarily about, whole food plant-based nutrition, not just plant-based nutrition, but whole food plant-based nutrition. No oils, no processed foods, no like weird isolated kind of protein powders and fake meats and stuff like that. And it's really interesting, this came up for me a lot in the pregnancy phase of my life. There's all this talk about protein, protein, protein. And in balanced whole food plant-based eating, this way of eating is actually relatively lower in protein. So what is a pregnant woman to do when wanting to make sure she's getting enough nutrition for a healthy pregnancy, but also, coming from this whole food plant-based perspective where protein has never really been kind of a big a big focus in the diet. These are questions that I was faced with during my pregnancy, and I'm excited to share what the science says and also the more kind of practicality of how to implement that science in the kitchen and the conclusions that I came to personally in this journey as well, of how to find, that good balanced eating while still maintaining the principles of whole food plant-based eating. But, what it comes down to is what is going to be the way of eating that's going to support health the most for the individual, right? And their offspring. And so anyway, I'm excited that that was like a really long kind of tangent, not really just a snippet preview into the pregnancy week, but gives you a little taste of what we're going to be talking about, right? Then we're going to talk about the postpartum period for the mother and also lactation. And this is actually a phase, of course, that I'm still in right now, a phase that many moms are in right now. And what's important here to take into consideration is not only the nutrition that's needed to really nourish the mother's recovering body and replenish her nutritional stores, because she gives so much in the process of creating a baby, growing a baby, and giving birth, right? She loses a lot of her nutrition in this process. So it's so important to replenish all of that. And also, it's important to make sure that the mother is getting enough nutrition also to impart into her breast milk if she is breastfeeding, to make sure that her baby is getting enough nutrition. So this week kind of overlaps with the fourth week, which is going to be talking about pediatric nutrition, specifically for the infant and toddler phase. We're going to be talking about, just the nutrition that these little humans need to grow into healthy adults. And spoiler alert, it does for plant-based families, it does include a lot of whole foods, but it actually also supports a little bit of use of some processed foods, flours, higher fat foods, because these little stomachs need more calorically dense foods in order to get all the energy that they need. So this is definitely where, we kind of shift away from I think in a lot of our episodes in the Alter Your Health podcast, where we're focusing so much more on supporting health, reversing disease, supporting a healing body, right? An adult healing body. And we talk about what has been shown in science with whole food plant-based eating and eating relatively low in fat and higher in carbohydrates to support the adult body and healing itself. Well, things are different for the little babes who are in this phase of life where they're just growing in that anabolic phase of metabolism. Anabolic meaning this building phase of metabolism where they need so much more energy, so many bodies. So, spoiler alert, little kiddos, they need more fat. They actually can benefit from bringing in some processed grains. So we'll be talking more about that. And then shifting gears to the following week, which is going to be talking about older children and the teenage years, talking about any special considerations for that phase. And then the sixth week, we will actually kind of skip the bulk of the life of humans, right? Like, I don't know, ages 18 up to menopause for women. For that age range, just refer to all of our other Alter Your Health podcast episodes, right? For adult human nutrition, right? But on the sixth week of this series, we're going to be talking about menopause and graceful aging. And this is actually a topic I've been getting so many people reaching out and saying, do you have an episode on menopause? Do you have an episode on hormones, in the later years of life? And it's been on the list of episodes to record for like 2 years, and I'm sorry we haven't done it yet, but it is time to finally do it. And we're going to be talking all about how to support graceful menopause, to support graceful hormonal balancing. Spoiler alert, we'll be talking a lot about liver health, and also talking about just more research also around creating longevity and health span so that in these later years of life, we can really enjoy our time and we're not just managing, chronic illnesses that are attributed to age. Yeah, we don't like to blame age for any kind of symptom or disease here, because the truth is that you can live healthfully into your later years for sure. And perhaps I'll be able to get Ben to do a bonus 7th week for this series talking about graceful aging for men, because there's also some special considerations for the men out there too. All right, so hopefully you're all excited about this, as excited as I am. I'm over here just like, yes, I'm so excited to tear into it. And I might even find in this series of nutrition for the life cycle that I might need to even like create more weeks and subcategories, because I might just geek out so intensely that I need more time to talk about certain areas or certain stages and phases in life. But anyway, everyone, this is a shorter podcast episode because it's really just kind of a check-in to let you know what's coming next, to let you all know that we are working away behind the scenes here to create more content for you. But like I said, I am so, so, so excited to dive into the Plant-Based Lifecycle Nutrition Series with you starting next week on the topic of plant-based nutrition for healthy preconception. So everyone, without further ado, I will just say goodbye for this week's podcast episode and say that I'm so excited to see you next week. We'll be kicking off the series and so excited to do this with all of you. So hang on tight for the next week and the following weeks to come. We'll see you then. Bye for now.